Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Lynn, and this video is just a quick showcase of the 7 cards that I made using the Tonic Studios kit number 42. That one is called Spring Wreath. And I had a lot of fun with this kit, and I can't believe I considered skipping it, and I'm really glad that I didn't. This first card, it's a new card style to me. It's called, I think, Flip and Pop Up. And I saw a lot of videos on YouTube from Stampin' Up! Demonstrators showing how to make this. And for my card, I did have to play around with the dimensions of the pop-up mechanic, but I do have a tutorial video showing my process for making these cards, so if you want to check that out, definitely feel free. I'll link to it in the upper corner here, as well as at the end of my video. This was my last card in my craft session, but I'm showing it now because it's really similar to this one, mostly because it was a mistake when I was trying to make this one. I used the smaller of the two outline dies, and that just wasn't what I was intending, so I had to redo this card using the correct size outline die to cut my aperture. But since I already had this panel, I didn't want it to go to waste, and so I collected up all of my leftover bits, and this is what I was able to make with them. So for a leftovers card, that turned out pretty well. This one is a Mother's Day card, and I was intending on actually using this kit to make all of my Mother's Day cards this year, but as it turns out, this is the only one that I made because I did have to bring in some additional supplies to get the sentiment. This happens to be a Crafter's Companion. I think it's their Cascading Sentiment die and stamp set. Yeah, stamps and dies come with it. Or you get one die and several stamps. And this is the Craft Perfect watercolor paper with just a fun sort of watercolor background using the glacier paste that came in the kit this month. My next two cards are kind of similar to each other. So this is using the Prepper border die to create that really nice border, and I put a little bit of tacky glue behind the open areas of this design and just poured some glitter over it. So it's a little bit translucent, so you can still see the color beneath of the card, but you just get that extra, it's so hard to see on camera, but really very apparent in person. So it's a really nice effect. This one, the backgrounds of the two are sort of similar. I basically just die cut the flowers out of foam, and then I use that as a stamp. So I've got all 3 sizes of flowers stamped kind of in an all-over random pattern, and I used the glacier paste just watered down slightly as my medium for stamping, and it's really fun. It's a fun way of using your dies. It's not a perfectly crisp stamp, but then again, I wasn't really going for that. But you could probably, if you get the glacier paste water mixed to the right consistency, you may be able to get a very perfect stamp. Here, I actually took the Wreath die and I did a partial die cut so that I could actually turn it into like a border or an edge die. So again, if you're interested to see how I do any of this, feel free to check out my tutorial video. And then this card sort of embraces the gold card stock and paper that came in the kit, and I did die cut the little silhouette butterflies out of the same specialty card as down here. You can't obviously, appreciate the full pattern, but you can still see and feel that texture on the little butterflies, which is really nice. And then my last card, just again embracing the gold, but instead of gold and white, on this one I went with gold and black, just giving it a different mood. And I used the second of the 2 Wreath dies, and it's interesting. I didn't really appreciate it because it wasn't immediately obvious to me just looking at the dies, but when you put these two together, this design, it's tighter, it has a smaller aperture in the center, and it's more oval in shape, as opposed to this one, which is more open in the middle and more circular in shape when you join up the two halves. So so that's really neat. Like, they've given us such a variety of different styles here, because we have the edger down here with the border, but then you can still use these as border dies too if you do some partial die cutting. And then the two wreaths have not only different floral design, but a different shape overall and different size overall. So that's really neat, and it's not something that I immediately picked up on when I just looked at, you know, the unboxing videos. And then the other thing that's also kind of unique, I don't think I have other dies like this, but for the florals, not only do you get the flower that you could do the 3D, you know, flower shaping with, but you also get the shadow layer for each of them. And so it gives you this very different look, and it's flat, but it still looks very dimensional, because you have the different layers, and if you die cut out of different papers like I have here, then it just adds to that effect. So I used the gold mirror card as the shadow layer. I used the classic card, but on the smooth side, for my flower. And then the stamp set includes the little stamen sort of detailing at the center of the flower. So I stamped in Versamark and then gold heat embossed that design in the center. So really kind of a neat and very different look. And this is a shaker card. It has some of the gold confetti that came in the kit. But yeah, I really like that. So this kit overall, I think, has a lot of things that, to me, when I just looked at the design of the dies, I don't tend to watch a lot of other card making videos before I make my own cards. So I tried to just look at unboxings, so I just know what's in the kit. And it wasn't obvious to me just looking at the dies and you know, the different ways that they cut out and stuff, that you could use these in such different ways and to achieve such different looks either. So in the end, I'm really glad that I kept this kit. So if you are interested in seeing me make these cards, then I'll link to the tutorial video at the end of this one, so you can check that one out too. Thank you again for joining me, and until my next video, happy crafting and have a fantastic day. Bye.